This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, all this week is Guilds Week, and we are checking out a different deck from each guild every single day for Guilds of Ravnica Standard, and today is Izzet Day, and we have a sweet deck from Todd Anderson over at SCG. Played it on the SCG Versus series. If you want to see the video, I will link it down in the description box, so check that out. This is risky Izzet Wizards, basically wizards, but also some risk factor going on. A pretty spicy looking spell slingery aggro build. So a quick reminder before we break down risky Izzet Wizards for Standard. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. Oh yeah, by the way, only comes in at $95 in the paper world, so even falls into the budget price range if you're looking for a way to update your blue-red wizards list or just want to put together something new. Keep that in mind, it's pretty cheap as well. Anyway, let's start by talking about the wizards, and our biggest, baddest, best wizard is Atlas the Cinderwind. 3 mana, you get a 2/2 with flying and haste, and when you're casting instant or sorcery, you get to give all your wizards +1/+1 until end of turn. It's basically like super mega prowess for all of your wizards. So the idea of this deck is, we're going to play some wizards, we're going to play Atlas, then we're going to play a bunch of spells, make our wizards really, really big, and just smash our opponent's face before they draw into their wrath or have time to play powerful late-game spells. To go along with Atlas, we have We Dragonauts, which is a perfect complement, I think, for Atlas. So We Dragonauts, also 3 mana flyer, also a wizard, and whenever he casts an instant or sorcery, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So even by itself, we can just cast a bunch of spells, smash our opponent with a huge We Dragonauts. However, if we have Atlas as well, each spell we cast is going to give our We Dragonauts +3/+1 and our Atlas +1/+1. So it doesn't take that many spells to just kill our opponent with these 2 evasive, flying, and pretty cheap threats. As far as the rest of our wizards, get to Lava Runner works well with the spell plan, turning into a Goblin Guide really quickly, coming down for just 1 mana, smashing our opponent's face, and then Goblin Electromancer. He's the least aggressive of our wizards. It's just a Grizzly Bear, a 2/2 for 2, but it really powers up the rest of our deck by making our instants and sorceries cheaper, which allows us to cast more spells each turn, which in turn means more We Dragonaut triggers, more Atlas Cinderwind triggers, which then means bigger wizards to kill our opponent with. As far as our spells, I gotta apologize to Risk Factor. I was pretty harsh on Risk Factor, calling it a unplayable Punisher card, but really, that's only partly true. Risk Factor is still not a card you want in most decks. However, the rate of 4 damage or 3 cards for just 3 mana at instant speed with Jumpstart makes it very scary in aggressive decks, and this is the perfect home for it. If you can pressure your opponent's life total, your opponent's going to either have to take a lot of damage and risk losing the game, or give you a lot of cards, which is going to turn into more damage, which will then in turn kill your opponent. So instead of being a bad Punisher card, where your opponent always chooses the worst option, there's really no good choice in a deck like this when it comes to Risk Factor. So if you can put forth a fast clock of aggressive creatures and back it up with other burn spells, Risk Factor is actually insanely powerful, and Jumpstart means we can cast it twice in the same turn, maybe for 2 mana with a Goblin Electromancer, which means that we're getting double the triggers with our Atlas, with our We Dragonauts. So this is one of the key spells in our entire deck. As far as the rest of the deck, we have a ton of just cheap cantrips. Radical Idea, draws a card, Jumpstart it, draw a card, another double up way to get 2 Atlas triggers, 2 We Dragonaut triggers, Chart a Course, opt, drawing us more cards, churning through our deck. Wizards Lightning, the Lightning Bolt of Standard, we can take advantage of it because we have a deck full of wizards, so casting it for just 1 mana mana consistently, getting blockers out of the way, throwing damage at our opponent's face, pumping our wizards along the way. And then we do have one non-wizard creature in Arclight Phoenix, which is another card I kind of underrated, but as we are just kind of playing through our deck, it gives us this resilient late game threat where if our opponent deals with our board, they deal with our wizards, in the late game we're going to cast an op, maybe cast a Wizard's Lightning, maybe jumpstart a Radical Idea, and all of a sudden we're getting back 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 Arclight Phoenix from the graveyard as these hasty flying threats to kill our opponent. So it gives us some resiliency to fight through the control decks that have sweepers and lots of disruption. So while it's not a wizard, it still works well with the hasty flying damage spell slinging theme of our risky Izzet Wizards deck. Mana base wise, pretty simple. Both of the Izzet dual lands coming into play untapped along with some basic lands. In the sideboard for control decks, we get the full 4 negates, Firebind's Research to slip in under counters and generate repeatable card advantage and maybe even damage as we're casting all these spells. Experimental Frenzy to just play through our deck really quick. Beacon Bolt gives us a way to deal with bigger creatures, Lyra's big green creatures that gets under our Wizard's Lightning. Crackling Drake, another big flying threat that also draws us a card, so also works well in grindy card advantage matchups where we get a creature that's very powerful because of all the spells we're getting in our graveyard. Also drawing a card, so even if our opponent kills it, we're still not really losing a card because we drew off the Enter the Battlefield trigger. And that is Risky Izzet Wizards for Guilds of Ravnica Standard. And that's been our instant deck for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.